Hello, Jumbo! Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Gina Kit. For those who are not aware, every Friday I do release a video that is aimed at empowering you. And this is a series that we have been doing for the past 2 weeks that is supposed to help us with our confidence. We first started with how we look. Next, we started on how to dress for an interview. And now we are doing tips for job interviews. In this specific segment, I will be concentrating with how to attend a job interview. The same tricks can be applied for other interviews, but this is specifically with regards to job interview because it's 2022. Some of us want to change jobs, get new jobs, or go up for new roles. Whichever the case, these are few tips. Just a small correction for the last video. I mentioned that the last interview I was in was 5 years ago. No, I came to the company 5 years ago, but 3 years ago, I changed jobs. In fact, I interviewed for 2 roles, got the 2 roles, had to choose one, chose my current job, and it has been a great learning experience. I learned a lot. I'm still learning a lot, and it has built my capabilities and skills in levels that I never imagined. So I'm appreciative about that. Enough about me. Let's go for job interview tips. They are numerous. If you just search into Google's job interview tips, you will get a lot of resources, and that's what I just discovered when I was doing this video. I will be referring to my notes because I want to make sure that what I give you is applicable and it's modern. I don't want to bring my old age knowledge here. We want to go with what is out there, what is currently in the market. Now, before I comment, there is a quote that I posted on Facebook 8 years ago. Oh, thank God for Facebook memories. And when it popped up, I was like, I need to share this with my viewers. I hope that it will inspire you the same way it inspired me. And here it goes. Reason most people never reach their goals is that they do not define them, learn about them, or even seriously consider them as believable or achievable. Winners can tell you where they're going, what they plan to do along the way, and who they will be sharing their adventures with. End of quote. So now you know the difference between the people who go for it and those of us who do not reach there and admire those who get in there. So let's just emulate the idea of planning, understanding our goals, and most importantly, believing in them. So how do we prepare for interview? Number 1, be punctual at your interview. It is not a requirement. It is mandatory to ensure that you be interviewed on time. As the saying goes, if you are 10 minutes early to the interview, you are 10 minutes late to the interview. So, what is the most acceptable time to be in an interview? With COVID-19, if you're doing face-to-face interview, log in 15 minutes before the time. If the person is not in, they will let you in through the time. If you're going for face-to-face interview, reach the premises 15 minutes before time. This is not about COVID restriction. There are new security restrictions that are coming in place, and employers are avoiding people going in early and sitting down in the lobbies. Now, you have been invited for face-to-face interview, you have been invited for virtual interviews, but for circumstances beyond your control, for example, the internet, the Wi-Fi could not be available. What do? 30 minutes before the interview, or when the circumstances detail in case of a virtual interview, you cannot make it, please call the person who invited you to the interview or the number given. 1, do not send an email because I understand that some of the organizations, they do not like giving out more details, but check the email. You will always find a number for one person. Please call that number. Send an email in case it is the last resort to tell them this and this, because remember, not everybody is on their computer checking. This person is busy preparing for you to attend that interview. So call them, let them know how long you expect to be taking, and the reason why you'll be taking this long. You don't want to end up being those people they have to sit down and wait for an interview. 10 minutes, you're late. Number 2, do your research on the company and industry. You need to understand, my dear, what you're getting yourself into. It is not just a matter of getting a job. I know some of us are too desperate to any job. You want to understand who will be interviewing you. You want to understand, what does this organization have to offer? What are the people saying about it on the internet? Go to LinkedIn, go to Glassdoor.com, check what are the previous candidates saying. You don't want to leave the grass on the greener side and go to the dry side. But most importantly, if you're really, really lucky, you will understand what people who have been in the same or similar position are getting paid. And if the salary is not stated in the advert, you can have the advantage when they tell what do you want to be paid, because you will understand the market range. 3, always clarify your selling points and the reasons why you want this job. So you send out the CV, you sent out the cover letter, got you matching the skills and capability. But so did the other 10 candidates who are coming to attend this interview. So what sets you apart from them? Be prepared to answer A, why are you best for this position? B, why do you believe you can add value to this role? C, how do you see yourself evolving in this position? But most importantly, why do you want this position? I know we all go for the money, but answering it's because of the money? Unless that interviewer has a sense of humor, you just let yourself down. So do clarify why you're selling, what are your biggest selling point, and how you'll pass them across. Which brings me to point number 4. You need to anticipate the interviewer's concern and reservation on why they do not want to offer you this position. Hey, you need to be prepared to defend yourself. Don't be hesitant when somebody says, I think you're overqualified, or I think you're underqualified because you do not have this skill. Now, if you had anticipated this question, you'll be able to demonstrate to them how you can bridge the gap, or why you might be suitable for this position if they believe that you are overqualified. But if you're not, you'll be like, and then show, another one, see what I'm demonstrating, come up later. Question number 5, prepare for the common interview questions. Like I said, when you go on Google, type preparation for interviews, you're going to get the questions and answers on how to prepare for interviews. Now, what will set you apart from the other candidates? Because you already know the questions, you are not going to go and cram the answers and appear there like a robot. You want to be natural. So you're going to practice the questions, and then you're going to edit them to come towards the role, and then you're going to practice your pace, your poses, and clarity to answer this question with confidence, poise, and clearness during the interview. Please do not speak from your mind, rather speak from your heart. That way you will not end up appearing like a robot, mumbling things that you just mastered and are trying to recall from memories. Questions are there, They're supposed to help you. Do not use them as your answers during the interview. Number 6. Do you have any question? What do you answer? Line up questions for the interviewer. Please, this is an opportunity for you as a candidate to have some intelligent question and demonstrate your knowledge of the company as well as your intent for the role. When doing this research for this question, I came across one of the questions that can help you answer this question through exparis.com. It says, if you could design the ideal candidate for this position from the ground up, what would he or she be like? You see, this question not only helps you understand the organization, know what to expect, but it is an all-purpose question that demonstrates to the interviewer about your intent for this role and sets you apart from the candidates. Now, go research more questions. Do not use this question. Which brings me to point number 7. Practice, practice, practice. Like I said early, we don't want to show us as robots. And as studies have shown, as research has shown, most interviewers will determine whether they will hire you within the first 5 minutes of you attending that interview. So, how do you differentiate yourself from the rest? You bring in positive energy. We're always talking about energy. Energy is contagious, man. You gotta bring in that positive energy. You gotta pass in the eyeball test. This is what we've talked about the past 2 Fridays. You gotta show up with a good suit. You gotta show up with good attires. You gotta demonstrate your clear communication and public speaking skills and your job demonstration. Why? Because you practice, practice, practice. You gotta be assertive. Please do not use this to demonstrate that you're cocky. But most importantly, the reason why practice is important, you know those illegal questions they tend to ask during interviews that they should not ask, those inappropriate questions, you will have practiced how to answer them without coming out as defensive, as offended. That's why you need to practice. Tip. What do I mean about inappropriate and illegal questions? Now, depending on where you are, in many areas, questions about your race, age, gender, religion, marital status, and sexual orientation are considered inappropriate. Now, I do have knowledge that sometimes questions about marital status can influence your remuneration package, and the interviewer might be able to ask you this so that they can know what package to give you. If you have practiced like I have, I'll be able to appropriately answer that question without sounding offensive to the interviewer and being able to demonstrate my understanding of them asking this question. Number 8, do not forget about non-verbal communication. Okay, because of COVID, we cannot shake hands, so it becomes really inappropriate to know how to, when we go to face-to-face interview, how do we start this off? But if you'd already practiced about the non-verbal communication, you'll have the cues. You don't have to shake the person's hand. You can demonstrate by this sign. You can even do a elbow pump if the person is sleek. Would not recommend that, by the way. But by non-verbal, I mean that how are you dressed? How are your hand gestures? Are you crossing your hands and appearing defensive? How are you seated? Are you demonstrating eye contact? Yes, if you're on the virtual video, you look at the mic, so that people can see that you're looking at them. How are you speaking to the person? Are you demonstrating is your facial features appearing like strict, like you want to go for war? Make sure that when you're practicing, you also practice the non-verbal communication so that you give out the positive energy, you feel relaxed. Yeah. All in all, remember, when you're attending an interview, be it virtual, but most importantly, face to face, the one which you have to go to the office, you need to be polite with everyone. Your interview will start the moment you get into that gate. Yes, every person you talk to, be it an employee of the company, be it a visitor of the company, be it your fellow interviewees, it could be part of the interview. I read about this in one of the interviews where they decided that the entire interviews was not about the question they were asking, but how the interviewees were demonstrating their relations with other interviewees and the office staff, because this was supposed to be a PR job. So how are you connecting with the other people? You say you're a marketer, you say you're a salesperson, how are you treating that janitor, are you treating that receptionist, are you treating your fellow people? And so what they did, they just went to the surveillance cameras, and that's how they chose the candidate. Yes, part of the questions need help, but major points came from that interview. So please remember to spread kindness. Be polite with everybody. You don't know what the other person is going through. And with that, I hope I have given you sufficient tips to pass your next job interview. In case of any queries, do not hesitate to contact me. I will be able to answer them to the best of my ability at all the best in your interviews. For the rest, have a lovely Friday. Have a great weekend and see you next week. Bye bye.